What's up, divers? It's Costas at Blue.ROV, and this is our 100% open source ROV, the Model C. So in this series, I'm going to show you how to actually build the internal electronics assembly. So it's all of the electronics that are inside of this acrylic pressure sphere that actually make the ROV work. So by the end of this series, you should know all of the steps, have all of the skills, and have a pretty good parts list for everything you'll need to build your own ROV. Let's do this. So this is all of the electronics you'll need for Guide 3. So first thing is the internal electronics cradle. You'll also need a 3D printed faceplate that protects the Raspberry Pi. You're also going to want your 3D printed camera mount. You'll also want a 9-gram servo motor, and to power the Raspberry Pi, a 12 volt to 5 volt DC converter. Then to function as your dive computer, you're going to want your Raspberry Pi 3B, and you'll also want, for your FPV camera, just a standard Raspberry Pi camera. We use the 5 megapixel version. You will also need 2 dual channel motor drivers. We use these DC motor drivers from Cytron. Okay, now for the wiring. You're going to want a strip of 8 female to female jumper wires. These will let the Raspberry Pi communicate with the motor drivers. To send power and PWM from the Raspberry Pi to your servo motors, you'll also need a strip of 3 male to female jumper wires. Then you'll also want a T-plug Y harness. That'll distribute power from the battery to the Raspberry Pi and to the motor drivers. And to actually power the motor drivers, you'll need this motor driver harness. It starts with a T-plug and ends in 2 sets of bare leads that you screw directly into the motor drivers. You're also going to need fasteners. So you'll want to have 6 of these 440 machine screws, and these 6 are going to be 3/8 of an inch in length. They'll hold the motor drivers onto the internal cradle. You will also need 6 440 nuts. 1 for each of those machine screws that hold the motor drivers in place. Next, you're going to need 4 size 256 machine screws. These are all 1/2 inch in length, and they hold the Raspberry Pi camera and the servo motor in place. And for each of those, you're also going to want a nut. So you'll need 4 256 nuts. And finally, to mount the faceplate, you're going to want 2 440 machine screws. These 2 are going to be a little bit longer than the first set. They're going to be a 1/2 inch in length. So now that we have all the parts we need, we can finally start putting stuff together. Thanks for watching.